This young man was a mega superstar. He had millions of fans across the world. He won several awards, but in a tickle of an eye, he lost that one thing that made him. His voice disappeared. Some people called this spiritual attack. Some said it was a medical condition. But one thing led to the other, then another, and slowly he was losing his entire career. This is the sad story of Tekno, one of the biggest artists and talented artists in Africa. The artist who gave Davido his biggest hit, but when the world needed him the most, he disappeared. My name is Prince Theophilus, and this is Fame and Fallout. To understand the story of Tekno, let's go back to the very beginning.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tekno!
He was born Augustine Miles Kelechi in December 1992 in Bauchi State, Nigeria. His father was a soldier, always moving from one city to the other. So Tekno's childhood was like a rolling stone. Bauchi today, Kaduna tomorrow, Abuja next tomorrow. But that helped him develop a diverse cultural influence that would later shape his musical style. Tekno was 8 years old when he joined the music school. While most children at his age were playing football outside, Tekno was inside, pressing the piano keys, learning new sound and training his ears. And that keyboard became his best friend. But life wasn't easy for him because he was a child that chose a different path. So other kids would bully him. Some nights he would cry himself to sleep, but still every morning he went back to his piano because that music was his only escape. As he grew older, Tekno made a bold decision to move to Lagos, the city where dreams are born and the city where many dreams die. When Tekno got to Lagos, he didn't know anybody. He had no rich uncle. He had no connection. He had no money. He moved from studio to studio, begging producers just to record. Sometimes he would clean the studio floor just to buy a few minutes behind the microphone. He slept on cold floor. He ate Indomie noodles for days. And even when some producers laugh at him and say, music is not for you, he didn't give up. One day, everything changed when he met a comedian, Julius Agu. Julius Agu saw that he was talented, so he introduced him to a music executive named Ubi Franklin. Ubi was the boss of Made Men Music Group, the label that had Inyanya, who was very hot at that time. Ubi looked at Tekno and he saw something special, so he signed him to his record label. Tekno dropped his first hit single titled Holiday, featuring Davido. And that marked the beginning of a successful music career. People thought it would end there, but they don't know that this guy had been working hard all his life. They didn't see the sleepless night, the hunger, the tears, but Tekno kept pushing. In 2015, everything changed when he dropped a song titled Duro. That song became a wildfire. People started playing it in weddings, in taxis, in villages, everywhere. Duro gave him his first real taste of fame. In 2016, he dropped another banger titled Pana. That wasn't just a song, it was an explosion. You couldn't escape it. In London, in New York, in Dubai, everywhere, even in China, people were dancing to Baby Pana. Everywhere you turn, Tekno's voice was there. He wasn't just famous, he became unstoppable. He won several awards and he gave Davido his biggest hit, If I tell you, say I love you, oh. Because when Tekno wrote this song, he knew that the message of that song was not fit for his brand. But Davido's brand was perfect for the song because Davido was the rich kid, aka Omo Baba Olowo. And that song became more than just music, but the birth of Davido's brand, 30BG Gang. He flew private jets, wore diamond chains, lodged in 5-star hotel, and finally, this is it. Tekno finally made it. But while the world celebrated Tekno, his body was preparing for war. Everybody wanted Tekno. One weekend he will be in Lagos, the next week he will be in Accra, Ghana, the next week he will be in Nairobi, the next week he will be in United States, all over the world. He was performing non-stop. He barely slept. He sang for hours. He shouted on stage performing. He danced without rest. People were screaming his name. He was smiling, but inside, his body was breaking. His throat started feeling something strange, scratchy, tight. One day, his manager told him, "Bro, you need to rest. Let's take a break." But Tekno will shake his head and said, "No, I can't stop now. I've worked too hard for this. My fans are waiting for me." He thought it was stronger than pain, but nobody is stronger than their own body. In Nigeria, we will say body no be firewood. Then one day, something strange happened to Tekno. In 2017, Tekno was to perform at Kigali in Rwanda. The stadium was filled up. There were thousands of people. The fans were screaming his name, "Tekno, Tekno, Tekno." The lights were bright. The DJ was playing his hit songs from Pana to Duro to Wash. Then Tekno stepped out. The crowd exploded. He took the microphone. Then he looked at the crowd. Then he smiled. He took a deep breath and then he opened his mouth to sing. Nothing came out. No sound, not even a hue. He tapped the mic. Check, check. Still nothing. He tried to sing, but still nothing. There was no sound. His chest locked. His throat froze and his heart raced. Thousands of eyes were on him. They were waiting for him to say something, but he couldn't make a sound. His manager noticed it and he signaled him from the side, whispering, "Just dance." So Tekno danced. He waved at the crowd, he smiled, but inside he was dying. He was telling himself, "God, what is happening to me?" After the show, Tekno ran into his hotel room. He shut the door. He stood in front of the mirror and tried to sing again, but his voice cracked like a broken speaker. He tried again and again and again, but nothing. Then tears came to his eyes. Not because of money, not because of fame, but because he knew deep down that his voice was gone. After the show in Kigali, Tekno didn't go online to rant. He didn't cry on Twitter. He didn't tell his fans what had happened, but he told his manager, "Let's manage this situation. I'll be fine." But he wasn't fine. He started cancelling shows and refunding money. He told the promoter that he was sick, that he needed some rest, but deep inside, he knew that this was not an ordinary sickness.
And your shows, Uncle, you cancelled everything.
Cancel, refund, spending all the money you have on hospitals, doctor to doctor.
People around him said it's just sore throat. They advised him to drink honey, use ginger, steam his voice. He did all that, but still, nothing worked. And that was when Tekno got scared. And finally, he had no choice than to voice out.
So guys, like, I haven't been feeling very well. They actually asked me to stay away from the studio, so I ain't really singing, because, like, you know, that shit, like, you know, we work hard and that shit, you know, sometimes the body get weak and stuff, like, you know.
While all this were happening to him, there were rumors that he was having issues with his record label boss, Ruby Franklin. Some people thought he was using the vocal issues as an excuse to escape. But that only added to his pains. In his quest to regain his voice, Tekno traveled to London, where he underwent a surgical procedure known as esophagogastric dissociation. It was an advanced operation where specialist doctor put tiny camera into his throat. They checked everything and they told him, "You have acid reflux laryngitis." For most people, acid reflux feels just like heartburn. But for a singer, it was a slow death.
In Ghana, I was performing and you know, like say you over scream and I kind of, you know, when you stretch your voice type shit.
Yeah.
So on that same night, acid, because I was having reflux at this time. So when I like kind of fucked my voice up, and then acid went over it over and over again. And by the time I find out what the problem is.
When acid from the stomach climbs up, it burns the vocal cords. That pain becomes deep and the voice becomes hoarse. Sometimes it never comes back. Tekno looked at the doctor with eye filled with questions. Questions like, will I ever sing again? And from the doctor's eyes, it was like, maybe or maybe not. But Tekno wasn't ready to give up. He flew to America, met more specialists, he tried more options, Doctors advised him to go through several surgical operations. They said it might help or it might destroy his voice completely. It was risky, but Tekno agreed. They placed a small implant inside his throat, a device to help his voice come back. But after the surgery, for 5 months, Tekno couldn't say a word. He communicated with text messages. Sometimes he gets irritated when people are around him because he couldn't communicate properly. Tekno locked himself inside an hotel room in Dubai, away from social media and every social activity.
There was a time I didn't even post for like 6 months. I didn't care about social media. These things didn't matter to me anymore. So I was just like,
You were fighting for your life.
Yeah. No, after the process I was back normal, like I'll go do my show and whatnot, and I'll just go enjoy.
At night, he would cry. He would scroll through Instagram watching the world move on. Burna Boy was now a global African giant. Wizkid had become legend. Davido was dropping hits back to back, and Tekno, he was in that room alone, hurting, in silence. He later said in an interview, "I watched my mate become global stars while I was battling with my throat. I felt the world would forget me." Silence is dangerous, especially when you are used to the noise, the cameras, and thousands of people screaming your name. Tekno entered a dark place, depression. He started thinking about quitting. He even thought about ending it all. But every time those thoughts came, he remembered his mother's voice. If you love something, hold it tight even when it hurts. Then in 2021, Tekno granted an interview. He sat down for an emotional interview with Daddy Freeze and he revealed something very painful. He said the sickness affected his finances. He said sometimes he had to pay $1,600 every time he sees a doctor. Here is the interview.
Can you give us an estimate of how much you've spent before you met this guy?
I can't.
20 million, 30 million, 50 million?
No, I cannot. I'm telling you, all this time, so money I don't make now, we used to say, boys, supposed to take this soft. This is what I was paying from doctor to doctor, Airbnb to Airbnb, hotel to hotel. These mans were running scans and tests, and these things were just bread. This doctor, Kesla, I see in New York, every time I see him, I pay $1,600. Every time I see him, it's $1,600. Whether I would do anything or whether I would do anything.
I want to be a doctor.
This is just money just gone.
During this dark period, his family held up to him. His mother called him every day. His siblings sent him voice notes and prayers. He held on, even when he felt like everything was falling apart. Because in Tekno's mind, there was still hope, even if it was tiny. He just had to fight. After years of crying in silence, after the surgeries, therapy, and pain, Tekno finally found peace. He got back to the music industry. He regained his voice again. Then he released several songs. But somehow, the fans were no longer paying attention. Maybe because the media was not pushing him enough. Or maybe because he left his record label and started his own label. Let's pause for a second. What really happened to Tekno? What did he do wrong? He didn't smoke crack. He wasn't caught in scandals. He didn't disrespect his fans. But his mistake was he worked too hard. He kept giving until there was nothing left to give. He kept performing when his body was screaming, rest. He forgot that his health is more important than all the applause and attentions. But if you are still looking for Tekno today, I'm here to let you know that Tekno is still out there and is currently dropping songs. You should check him out. You should pay attention and stream his songs. If you love videos like this, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell button so you don't miss other amazing stories like this one.